Speaking of music, there's been a rift growing in the country music community with the politicization of songs, lyrics that have been called out as discriminatory. A new Rolling Stone article has called out the divide, saying country music is being pulled into the same battles that we see across American culture. Joining us right now, Bardella, political strategist and publisher of the country music newsletter, The Morning Hangover. Thank you so much for being with us. You know, it's like celebrities, country music stars, they're just like all of us, because most of us have seen, even if we weren't in the mix ourselves, a friend or family member just kind of cutting us off because of our political views. Or we've cut somebody off saying, you know what, I just don't want to get into a debate with you, so I'm not going to be on Facebook with you anymore or Twitter. So let's talk about these artists. I mean, you have individual artists who said back in the day, not too long ago, you used to hang out with all your buddies behind the scenes at the country music concerts. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that long ago where you would go to a country music concert or go to one of the industry award shows and events, and backstage was very open. It was a very welcoming community. Everyone's talking to everyone. Everyone's hanging out. It was very free-flowing, very casual, actually. And I always observed that this is such a unique form of entertainment because other forms of entertainment, people are siloed off. The stars are in their own camps and their own trailers and their own dressing rooms. But in country music, everyone's just really hanging out and having a good time. And we've seen this a little bit of a shift now as things have become more political, more publicly facing political, where there are, I think, artists who don't really want to hang out with certain artists, that they do want to keep more to themselves, that if political conversations are happening, they want to do that in a more protected space, not out there so open in the backstage public areas.
Well, and you think that's most of us, right? We don't want to share everything with everybody. We have our close-knit group of people that know everything about us and every opinion we have, but we're not necessarily broadcasting it. Artists, I would think, are the same. You have like Jason Aldean, whose song rocketed up the Billboard charts but was heavily criticized. And then you have artists like Maren Morris, whose views seem to be more progressive, not being so buddy-buddy with him. Do you think this is the first time we've seen this in country music in particular?
Well, it's not the first time that we've seen tensions in the past, obviously most famously between Toby Keith and the artist formerly known as the Dixie Chicks, now known as the Chicks. That was one of the most, I think, visible rifts that we had in the country music format during the Bush administration years over the Iraq War. I think this is the first time that we've seen these type of political machinations impact the social culture of the country music community, in part because really the issues that are dividing people are more social and cultural. It's not just a specific policy like the war in Iraq or the economy, something a little bit more tangible. There really is a cultural difference, especially when we saw the rift happen between Aldean and Maren Morris that was over transgender. When we've seen more recently the explosion of animus towards Bud Light, where some artists aren't drinking Bud Light, some artists are openly drinking Bud Light and talking about it. I wouldn't think that at any time soon you're going to see Maren Morris and Jason Aldean sitting next to each other at an award show, whereas not that long ago, you really couldn't even imagine any artist feeling like they shouldn't or wouldn't feel comfortable sitting next to another artist.
Yeah, and I think that for a lot of people, it's a different time. It feels like more is at stake for some individuals and some communities because of the times we're in. Bardella, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.